Welcome to the Disaster Resilience Planning for Heritage Resources video series. This video is the first installment in a 4-part series to guide developing a disaster resilience plan for heritage resources in your community. The intent is to provide resources for you, the heritage organization, the city planners, or other local government officials, or even just a concerned resident, to make a disaster resilience plan for your community. This video series expands upon the content shared in the guidebook, providing insight on our lessons learned in Cottage Grove. The guidebook and the video series are available to you to begin working on your own disaster resilience plan for heritage resources. While you can use these videos on their own, they are best used side by side with the guidebook. What is a heritage resource? In Oregon, we have so many different pieces of heritage with dedicated volunteers that care for and preserve them. From the covered bridges in Cottage Grove to museums, historic homes, and Main Street districts, there are many pieces of history that help shape the identity of our communities. A heritage resource is any form of preserved history, both the tangible, a historic building or a piece in a museum, and the intangible, a festival celebrating a historic moment, or the oral history shared by our elders. But what happens when a disaster hits? Many heritage-based organizations are nonprofits, run by a few staff or volunteers with limited resources. When a fire causes damage to a museum, or a global pandemic makes a nonprofit unable to host a large fundraiser, how can that organization stay afloat and continue to preserve history? In the guidebook and this video series, we discuss the ways you can be more resilient to disasters. Resilience is the ability to anticipate, adapt, absorb, and recover from unexpected change. So who can make a disaster resilience plan for heritage resources? This video series is for the champion. The champion can be a public official, a volunteer with a heritage organization, or just a concerned resident active in your community. A good resilience plan for heritage resources will require the participation of all of the above. The champion can come from any one of these categories depending on the time and resources that they have available to give to the process. Each person has a different range of skills that will prove helpful in developing this plan, but the guidebook is the most useful to the person who is willing to take it and put it into action. This video series will take you through the process of completing your disaster resilience plan in 3 different stages. In the second video, we discuss disaster resilience planning for heritage resources using a framework that connects resilience principles with best practices in emergency management and cultural resource planning. The third video describes data collection strategies to inform your planning process. We encourage you to gather information in partnership with community members and heritage organization stakeholders. These strategies help you to find vital information to write your disaster resilience plan. The video series concludes with the discussion with staff from the City of Cottage Grove and Oregon Heritage. They share lessons learned from the Cottage Grove pilot project and highlight resources for heritage organizations to implement planning efforts in their own communities. This project was the result of a partnership between the University of Oregon's Institute for Policy Research and Engagement, All-Star Heritage Community of Cottage Grove, Oregon Heritage Program staff, and the City of Cottage Grove staff. If you would like more information about this project or how to create a disaster resilience plan for heritage resources in your community, please go to the Oregon Heritage website to download the complete guidebook. We hope this helps you and your community develop strategies to protect your heritage resources.